Okay, we're going to come back from the break now. Everybody grab a seat if you'd like there. Again, we're serving lunch today at 12. And we're going to have a little bit of fun here for a second, and then we'll get back into the growing business stuff. Sean, I'd like you to pull up the word Lion's Den, Lions Possessive. You can do a search for Command F, Lion Possessive Den. You'll find it. Lion, there you go. Yeah, okay. We're all going to grab a seat here, and everybody grab a hey, Bloomer, can you hop on the megaphone and just kind of, with the subtlety of a megaphone, round up everybody? Okay. Okay, we're going to round up everybody. Here we go. All right. So, are we learning something so far? Are we learning some things? Things being learned? Okay. So, the whole goal of this, just to be very clear, is who here grew up poor? All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, the thing about growing up poor, you know, people always ask, how did you know? Did you know you were poor? Did you really know? Well, you know, every box is yellow in the cabinets. You know, your parents are, my dad's delivering pizzas, working at the gas station. He did whatever he could do to provide for us, and I appreciate him doing that, you know? It was great. But at the same time, yes, I had a clue that we didn't have money, you know? And I'm happy the way I was raised. I'm no complaints about it. But about the age of 15, it occurred to me, I do not want to be poor anymore. So I became unpoor. And at first, it was kind of like not a positive drive to be not poor. Okay, I was driven by bitterness. Okay, and I was driven with just bitterness because I stuttered as a kid, didn't have any money, grew up bitter, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I did, and you know, I built a very successful company at a very young age, and I'm 20 years old, married, have lots of employees. Things are going great. And at a certain point, it shifted for me where and Clifton Talbert helped me sort it out. He was a mentor in my life, great guy. He was the first black man west of the Mississippi to open a bank. And I remember talking to Clifton, and I said, Clifton, how are you not pissed? You know? And he said, what do you mean? I said, you couldn't even go into the front door of a bank, because he grew up in Glen Allen, Mississippi, where people that were black couldn't go in the front door. And he goes, well, I've turned my bitterness into betterness, and I just have a grace for people that were ignorant, and that's why I opened a bank, was to have a bank where you could go through the front door regardless of what color you were. And I thought, man, that's amazing, that's inspiring. And that kind of flipped the switch for me, but I can tell you I was fueled by bitterness. But you better be fueled by something, because you got to stay motivated, okay? So we're looking here. Let's put up the picture of the Lion's Den experience. Sean, we'll pull that up real quick here. Lion's Den. So this drawing, I drew this, and that is where you are now. So this building where you're at now, I drew that, and that's where we are now. So at one point, I drew it, and then now we're here, you know? And so I like to sketch out what's going to happen, and then I'd make it happen. You know, so and I like to work with competent contractors to make it happen. And I want to bring up Randy Antrikin if we can. Can we bring up Randy here? Let's bring up Randy Antrikin with PMH OKC. He's a great guy, a longtime client. He's grown his business quite a bit, and I think Randy will be a fun addition for this particular session. And then Steers, I'll have you and Randy maybe share mics, or you have a fourth mic? Okay, cool. All right. So Randy's company's called PMH OKC. It's Perfect My Home. They have 4 locations. And Randy, how long have you and I been working together?
We're going on our 5th year right now.
5th year. And how much have you grown as a percentage or a number you want to share?
So when me and you started, I was doing $4 million, and then we'll do probably $20 million this year.
And Randy's grown and grown and grown. And all Randy needed was a proven plan and a system, and then he was willing to put in the work. So, Randy, you built this for us, this the top shelf up here.
I did.
And you had a plan?
Yep.
And
it
you did it?
All starts with a sketch.
Sketch?
Yep.
Yeah. And so, with Randy's business, what would happen, Randy, if you went out there and tried to build a pool without a plan?
Well, since I'm not building it, a lot would go wrong, because you have to have a plan so that all of your guys are on the same page.
So a lot of business owners, though, they don't have a plan, and then they kind of run through the minefield of life seeing what will work. Now, I know, and I'm just giving you examples, and I'll go to Stairs and I'll go to Steve. I know it's a ratio. I'm gonna pull up, can I pull up your tracking sheet, Randy? Is that cool?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up his tracking sheet so you can see. So everyone's going to need a tracking sheet, okay? So somewhere, I want everyone to, you need to write this down somewhere. Hopefully you're using this book as a place to kind of catch these ideas. You need to have a tracking sheet, okay? Because you measure what you treasure, all right? What you don't track, you lack. You feel me? Okay, what you don't track, you lack. Measure what you treasure. These ideas, they rhyme all the time. Okay, so it's really important, though, that you measure what you treasure. So it's a ratio. So for every time I do an interview, Stairs, we produce about 20 ticket sales. So if I want to sell 40 tickets, how many interviews do I have to do?
That's too complicated, Clay.
If you want to do, it's word problems.
It's okay. I sell
run
20.
Run through the word problem.
I sell 20 tickets per interview I do.
Easy.
So how many interviews do I need to do if I want to sell 40 tickets?
40 tickets too.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
that
it's
is
not.
awesome.
But it's not an emotional thing. You get what I'm saying? It's not an emotional thing. It's just the reality is, I'm just being real. Do you know this? In America today, 11% of Americans read their Bible. That's a fact. Look it up. Look it up. Pull it up there, Sean. 11% of Americans read the Bible. 11% of people read. 11% of Americans read the Bible. So you know that only 11% of Americans would be at all concerned about the mark of the beast because they don't know what it is. You know? So when you start talking about putting a chip under your hand, it's called Walletmore. Who's heard about Walletmore? It's a new technology being rolled out where you pay with your hand and they put a chip in. That's in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 through 18. And if you read the Bible, you go, boop, 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 rah, rah, boop, and you see it. But 11% of Americans read the Bible ever. 11%. 11 ever. 11% ever. That means ever. That means not every day. 11% of Americans ever read the Bible, ever. So
And half of them lied about that. So
okay,
it's probably
there you go.
like 5%.
So we go back to, so it's not an emotional thing. I just know that if I'm going to sell a certain number of tickets, I have to do one interview for every 20 tickets we sell. Are we on the same page? So for Randy, for your business, the metrics that drive your business is I know we have to do a certain amount of, we'll talk about it later today, but in order to be top in Google, there's 4 variables that impact your rank. It's whoever has the most content, original content, whoever has the most reviews from objective reviews. Third is it's the most canonical or Google compliance. Follow the Google rules. And 4, it's the most mobile compliance. So if we type in OKC Pergola into Google, you're going to see that Randy's business comes up top. It's not emotional. So if you said to me, I want to be top in Google, I need more leads, I would say to you, you need more content, you need more reviews. Your website has to be canonically compliant, it has to be mobile compliant. You see them? Can everyone see that search result? Sean, maybe zoom in. Can we all see it? Can you all see the search result? You see how he's top? Randy, do you ever get leads off the internet?
Almost. Well, that's our number one lead source. So being top of Google is our number one generator of income.
And then you wow people, and it usually leads to referrals. So people ask me every day, Clay, who built your pergola? Who did the pergola? Who did the work outside? I say, Randy, and it turns into stuff. So word of mouth, but you have to be top of Google. It's not emotional. So if you type in Joplin Gyms, that would be the co-law business. If you type in Joplin Gyms, and that's the co-law business, co-law fitness comes up top. And Steve, can you read how many reviews they have, co-law?
9,300 and some change.
What does the number 2 guy have?
He's coming in hot at 119. 610.
Do you see what I'm saying, though? It's not an emotional thing. It's a motional thing. What? It's not an emotional thing. It's a motional thing. Motional thing. Motion. Action. Action, right?
Charles is an animal.
So
that's why. That's crazy.
We need to be aware of this, okay? Procrastination is the giant. Right? All right? Procrastination is the giant. Action is the sword. And inspiration is the reward. You get the reward of being inspired after you do the work, not before you start. You get what I'm saying?
That's good. Say that again, Clay. That's good.
So again, procrastination is the giant standing in front of you. Procrastination. But action is the sword. Okay? And then the reward you get is inspiration. So again, the giant, procrastination is the giant, action is the sword, inspiration is the reward, okay? And a lot of people...
Inspiration comes as a result of action.
So Randy, what time do you wake up every day?
About 3:30.
Okay. And did your dad teach you that? Was your dad... I know your dad had a big part in your life.
We threw a paper out when we were really young. We were broke, and so we did that. Then we went to work, and then when I was in my firefighter days, we were up all night. So I just naturally wake up early.
Okay, so you get up, and then you get reviews from happy customers, and you do it like it's an important thing.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most important things for us.
Stairs, what percentage of the time do you work with a client, a great person, and they go, I wanted to get a Google review, but I couldn't. I can't get my guys to do it. How often does that happen?
At the beginning, when we work with clients, it's 100% of the time.
And it's like, I want to get a review,
and then
but
as we move forward, some of them are able to kick in and just become motional instead of emotional.
Now, another thing is Randy does a great job. If you go to pmhokc.com, you get video reviews. Okay? So part of the plan, again, for your business, every business has a little different plan, but part of the plan is you have to get video reviews for your business. Now, if you didn't get reviews, people would be less likely to buy from you. That's just a fact. It's not an emotional thing here. So how do you convince sane adults to give you a review? Sean, let's play the video real quick here, and I want to get Randy's. Go scroll down. Right there. Hit play that with the top right video. Yes. Top right. Yep. Hit play real quick here. Feeling the flow. Working it. Here we go.
What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Mary Tog. I'm from Edmond, Oklahoma.
How did you hear about PMH?
Through Facebook.
What was your best experience while working with PMH?
It was very quick, efficient.
Pause.
Very nice
And this might not seem awesome to you, but for a potential buyer, this is like the big decision thing. So, Randy, how do you go about getting video reviews?
So we just kind of like bake it into the process, and when we finish a job, we have someone go take photos and do a Google review and video review, and then I incentivize my employees to get it. So if I incentivize my employees, Google allows that, but they are attacking that to make more money.
Okay, so let's go to, I'm going to go to Steve Currington. Yep. To be top in Google, again, this isn't the only aspect of marketing your business. I'm just trying to give you some examples today, okay? I remember sitting down with you and I said, if you want to be top in Google, because I used to work with your competitor.
Yeah.
And so when I worked with Steve, I don't work with two competitors. I don't do that because I don't want to compete with myself. So I
had to fight that other guy to the death.
There we go. So. Well, and the thing is, I worked with the other guy, and the other guy was great, and then he brought his family involved, and I didn't like the family, so it was a good time for me to exit. So I'm working with Steve, and I said, Steve, to be top in Google, you're going to need about 2,000 articles of content to be top. Because whoever has the most, 4 things to be top in Google, hopefully I'm doing a good job teaching here. One is it's the most objective reviews. Second is it's the most original content, yes. Third is it's the most canonical compliance. We'll talk about that later. Do you follow the Google standards, like the canon, like the Bible, the canonical compliance? And the fourth is the most mobile compliance. And Steve goes, okay, well, what's the best way to get 2,000 pages? And I said, I would recommend you come to my studio and you record a podcast that no one will listen to, and we transcribe it, and you do it every day until you're top in Google. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And what time did you get to the office?
I mean, I got up at 4:20, and then I would get here to try to be at the coaches meeting. And then I would just record.
And he would do it like every day, recording a podcast that no one's going to listen to, because nobody wants to listen to a mortgage podcast. We just got to transcribe we got to create the most original content. But did you like doing that?
No, I hated it. It sucked.
And I think you went through like 3 assistants with you to
remember
get
Tyler?
done.
We called it the Steven Tyler Show, and Tyler, I said, if you yawn one more time, I'm going to beat your ass. Like, literally.
It's like 4 in the morning, and they're recording a podcast that no one's going to listen to, but they have to do it to be top in Google. And I'm just saying this because there's things you're going to have to do that you're not going to want to do. So I want to focus on the things you do want to do, so hopefully it's worth the trade-off for you. Sean, back to the Lion's Den. So I sketched this stuff out, and Randy, when a guy like me gives you a sketch and says, hey, I want to make a pergola right over here by the waterfall, what's your process to take it from a sketch I have into reality?
Well, for me, it's just mainly dimensions, because I have a really good vision for what people want. And so I just take dimensions, give you a quote, and get going.
And I'm trying to add like a kind of a catwalk, like extra seating, so eventually you could sit on top of the bookstore area and sit over here. And it's not because I need to, it's because I want to. Let's be very clear. I don't need to, but I want to. That's on my fun list. I like building things. Right? So, again, so what motivates me? I like to build things. I like to help people grow companies. So go, Sean, to the next one here. This is Dr. Zellner building Camp Clark. I fundamentally believe that thou shalt not have a pool unless it has a massive waterfall. That's just my belief. So here we are. Hit play. Creator of the vision. We have Dr. Z, he's like the John Madden of this project. We have Josh. He's sort of an observer of the whole thing here. So Z, what's your take on it so far?
Some of the John Madden. So boom, we got the rocks going down. We got the Bobcat picking up dirt and dropping it.
Oh,
It's
boom.
going, boom. We got stuff going on. We got the guys over here working with their shovels and whatnot. See all these rocks right here? I placed all those personally by my hand.
Okay,
Every
pause.
single one.
So that's what I like to do. And if you scroll down to the next one, to put DJ Obbs at the pool. This is a few years back. But I don't like to have any party in my backyard, or I don't like weak birthday parties. You ever been to like a weak party where it's like, hey, do you guys want some carrots? Yeah, I do want some carrots. It's almost like it feels like a funeral, like a wake, but it's a third grader's birthday. Have you been to these? And there's like a pony that's there, and there's a few people, and it's kind of, I can't do it. I have to have a lot of energy to make it fun. Hit play. This is Aubrey. And we get like, 30 kids in the pool, contests every 10 minutes, pause. And this is just sort of, you can pause it. So that's how I define success in my mind. But that's what motivates me to do what I do, is I like having massive pool parties. My kids now, we got 5 of them, and they'll say, Dad, can you plan an epic birthday party? I'm like, oh, yeah. Because they know I'm getting the inflatables. I'm getting like monkeys. I'm going to rent like a monkey or a llama. I'm not kidding. I'm going to rent like a giant tortoise. I'm going to rent like a alpaca. I'm going to rent dogs that aren't mine. I'm going to have fire breathers. We're going to have jugglers. I just all of it. And it's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I am Billy Madison. Let me do that. Okay? So you got to get excited. So Randy, what motivates you? Then we'll go to stairs and ask you the same question. What motivates you? Because you're growing this company. What motivates you to do what you do?
Honestly, just building wealth. I mean, it's like the game of Monopoly. You just want to build something big and hang out with my kids, and that's really about it.
There it is. So, but a lot of people are driven by other things, which is fine. Stairs, what motivates you to be a state rep and to keep growing your consulting company?
Yeah, my main thing is I want to help people move. I want to help other people move from where they are to where they want to be. I just love to do that. So the thing is that I've got to get there first so that I can help other people get there.
Sean, pull up Griswold. Who likes the movie Christmas Vacation? Woo! I feel like in many ways I am Christmas Vacation. There's so many things. My son, I'm really not mechanically inclined, and my son says, Dad, do you want to drive my mower? Because my son's 15 and he has a landscaping business, and I'm going, no. He's like, no, you need to. I'm like, Dad, Aubrey. And I'm not kidding. I set my lawn on fire because I mowed it too low of a setting somehow, and it's like major fire. And my son's like, this is why you don't do, I'm very Griswoldy. Andrew came to my house. The first 3 times Andrew came to my house, I almost set my house on fire 3 consecutive times. Because there was an outlet that wasn't working, and I thought, well, I'll just go in there and, wow. So I'm not mechanically inclined, but I am artistic. I like to design things and work on things. So the new thing I'm working on right now is I'm calling this Griswold's Last Resort, and I'm kind of sketching it out. And I want to make it where, like, it's the kind of place that if my wife allows me to rent it, if she doesn't, that's okay. But if she allows me to, I want it to be the place where you want to almost lick the Airbnb listing. Like people go, what are you doing? I'm licking the listing. I don't know why. I love it. Oh, my gosh. Like, you want to take a selfie with the Airbnb photo on the website. Because I just want it to be so exciting if you would stay there. Because if I'm going to stay there, I want it to be exciting. So I like to sketch stuff out. That's how I do it. That's what gets me motivated. I sketch a thing. Does anybody else here do sketching? Who here does more of like you grab something off of Pinterest or you grab a picture from a magazine or a quote? Who does that? Who does the quote move? Who likes to put stuff on your mirror? You put it on your mirror, pretty soon you can't see anything in the mirror because it's all motivational things. Who has to write it down in a journal? Who's a journaler? Okay, but you got to write it down because what you write down and you put in front of you every day, you'll kind of drift towards that thing if it's in front of you every day. And that's not like a weird spiritual metaphysical thing. I'm just telling you, if you see it every day, it's more likely that you're going to pursue it every day. Okay, make sense? All right. Steve, what motivates you to do what you do? And what is that shirt you're wearing?
Oh, it's Givenchy.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Okay. It looked cool. It was only $500, so I feel like I got a deal.
Is that a $500 t-shirt?
Man,
is it really?
it's not that important. Like, it's a nice shirt. Feel it. Like, it's good.
Is it really a $500 t-shirt?
That's
Sean, look that up. See if that's true. Fact check that.
I don't look. Look, it's not important. But that's why I do. I mean, I buy shit and then I figure out how to pay for it later. Like,
I rebuke that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah. No.
So no, but I mean that's my motivation is I want to buy more Lamborghinis and
you like it.
I just
now you have a whole YouTube show dedicated to you doing these sorts of things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to give you that sort of pleasure yet. Okay.
Yeah.
But you have a show called Lambros, and why do you have a show on YouTube?
Because I like to do dumb shit and film it and laugh about it.
Okay,
You know? So
Okay, all right. We'll bring up other clients later. Okay, so let's go back. Sean, look for the word workflow, please, workflow. So I'm just trying to show you again. So Tip Top Canine might be a great opportunity for somebody. It might not be. But the workflow is just a business that's scalable because the business exists to serve you. So the workflow is like a blueprint for Randy. Are we on the same page? So Randy, if you gave your guys just verbal ideas, what would happen quickly as you began scaling your construction company?
I'd probably go out of business, more than likely.
And most contractors work that way, by the way. They go, well, I'll tell you what, the customer wants to add in a nice cabinet. And they go, okay. And they build it, and the customer goes, this isn't what I wanted. So you have to have a blueprint. You have to do it. You have to do it. You got to have a blueprint. Got to have. And again, what would happen if you didn't? Stairs, what happens for businesses if they don't have a workflow like we have at Tip Top Canine? What happens?
Well, once again, if you don't have something like this, you can't transfer it to other people to help you because it's in your head. There's not a picture to follow. So you have to go to work every single day. And unfortunately, if you do find someone that's awesome and they get it, they get you. How many of you guys have that person? They get you. You know, it's awesome. But then they say, I'm going to leave. And now you're going, okay, before you go, I need everything that's in your brain. I need everything that you do because I don't know what you do because you never did write it down.
So this is what you need to build if you're going to build a business and not just a job.
Yeah, and Clay, if I can, on this, it's a blueprint of how your business brings in customers and then what your business does to take that customer into being a client, being a paying customer for you. So we take a lead, how do you get your leads, and then how do you turn your leads into paying customers? And when you were talking about a moment ago that we just bake it into the process to get the reviews and the videos, that becomes a step on your blueprint.
And one of the biggest jumps, I think, in business is whenever you go from doing everything yourself to having to create systems, because you can't just do one system. You've got to create your entire business to where someone else can do it without you doing it. And like everybody, when they start off, you're doing everything.
Have you ever been to one of those conferences where it's like celebrity and friends, and then you get there and the celebrity's not there? You ever had to see that? It's like a real estate mogul. Yeah, I'm making up the name, but it's like Carl Smith and friends teach you how to become rich. And you get there and Carl Smith is not there. Have you seen these things? Who's ever seen the movie Mr. Deeds? Can you pull up Mr. Deeds' poetry, please? My life goal, if I had to put it into a movie scene, is Mr. Deeds' poetry. Who's not seen this? I apologize if this is super deep and dark. I apologize if it's just super heavy and complex. But this is, we'll skip through it here. But this is Mr. Deeds. And Mr. Deeds, the story of Mr. Deeds is he's a guy who's wealthy. He owns a pizza business, but his number one goal is he likes to deliver the pizzas himself to customers because he likes to. And he also likes to write poems in the hopes that someday one of them will get into Hallmark. Okay, so let's hit play.
All right, I'll give you one. This is a Mother's Day card I've been working on. Mom, you are the one who brought me to planet Earth. You are the one who suffered through my 14-hour birth. You are the one who made lemonade for me after I'd come back from play. I love you, Mom, so have a wicked nice Mother's Day. Something
Pause.
like that.
That's kind of about as deep as I want my life to be. I mean, so like at this conference, and I've met, Michael Gerber, the E-Myth guy. I have no problems with him. I've met Robert Kiyosaki. I've met these people through things, and they're always like, people always ask me, well, why don't you take on 1,000 clients? And I'm like, because I don't want to. I just want to have 100. Do you know how difficult it is to maintain a relationship with 160 people? Like, I want to have a functional, healthy relationship with 160 people. I don't need to make more money to buy things I don't need to impress people I don't know. I'm in my flow, and I like it. And I've been in my flow since I was 25. It's 17 consecutive years of being in my flow, and I'll stay in my flow, and I like what I do. And so, but if you're not careful, if you don't have a big goal in your mind of where you're going, you might pass the goal and then go into a place where you're living somebody else's goal.
There you go.
Okay, so you got to know the destination. Know the destination. Otherwise, the world will pull you and telling you you're not good enough if you don't have 27 locations or whatever. So, Randy, you got 4 locations now.
Correct.
And I'm not asking you to make a declarative statement about what you're going to do or not do, but how did it shift when you went from one location to 4? How did it, one showroom to 4? How is that different?
I mean, it's kind of like what I was just saying. You go from like being involved in everything to anything could happen, you not even be aware of it until after it's done. And so you've got to be extra diligent, and it's a lot of work. You got
And
a
again,
lot of
speaking in vagaries, I'm not asking for specifically on this, but theft could probably become a bigger concern with more employees.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty common. I mean, we had a guy rip us off for $50,000 last year. He was just buying stuff and returning it for gift cards, you know, and that's just like barely caught that.
And there's a lot of stuff. You also have a lot of, like with employees, I try to only hire people that I like. That's, by the way, if anybody's watching this and you want to work here.
What a concept.
I only hire people I like. So the kind of person that, like, if I invited them to my home, I wouldn't be like, holy crap. You know what I mean? The kind of person that I wouldn't mind watching my kids. I wouldn't mind watching their kids. It seems kind of crazy, but we do have employees who work here. My wife and I do watch their kids sometimes because I like watching kids. I don't want to have any more kids, but I like to watch your kid for about 2 hours. That's my niche.
Devin's having plenty of kids for the
There
rest
you go.
of us.
No, but I like, okay. So again, but I know what I want, where I want my business to grow. And I want to know everyone who works here. I want to like them. I want to hire people that I like. And it's just really important because once you scale beyond 50 employees, guess what? You don't know their names anymore. And then once you go to 100, you don't know their names and they don't know your name. And they also don't know your mission or your passion or why you're even doing it. And now it's just a job. Make sense? So if you're going to grow a business, just think about why you're doing it. Really think about this. Let's go back here to, Sean, look for the phrase Ford Escort.
Ooh,
Ford
I had a Ford
Escort.
Escort too. Come on, bro.
Ford Escort. You had a Ford Escort?
Oh, yeah. 91.
I had an
Ford
89.
one. Had some sweet rims on it, though.
Did you have a hatchback?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So this was my 1989
Oh,
Ford
yeah.
Escort.
Come on, baby.
And I couldn't
Cow.
afford an auto wrap. And I was going to college at ORU, and my theory was if I'm going to go to college, everyone needs to know that I exist, because it's marketing. Someone should write that down. Marketing, people have to know you exist. This is big, seriously.
Is this a kind of Chinese dish? The Kung Pao chicken?
Hey, look, I was dating a girl whose dad liked to take me out for Chinese. That's a real thing. But anyway, so extraordinary, if something's not memorable, then people won't remember it. If it's not extraordinary, if it's not ordinary plus extra, they won't remember it. So I was going to college. I had no money, but I had to pay my way through ORU. I don't know why I went to ORU, but I did go to ORU, and it was like $20,000 a year. And I regret going to ORU. And if anybody out there is watching this, you shouldn't go to ORU, in my opinion, based upon the money I spent versus the return on investment. I think it's a waste of time. And they're also pushing Pfizer right now, so boo ORU. Okay, so, but went to ORU. And I went there, and I was like, I got to pay for college. So I was like, I need to book a certain number of DJ gigs to pay $20,000 a year. So I needed to get attention. So my thought was, I'm going to hand paint my vehicle. Can someone please tell me why I hand painted my vehicle?
No money.
No money. Yeah, and even though it didn't say what I
no
did.
No money, but you had a little bit of talent.
There you go. And it caused people to say, what do you do? I remember certain girls would not go on a date with me because of that. And then certain people wanted to meet me because of that. But everybody knew about all of that. Because that's the only car like that in the parking lot. People are like, oh my God, this is the DJ. Who is it? Because I was a freshman. I showed up as a freshman. I went to college early because I tried to drop out of high school. My parents advised me not to. So I went to college early. So I transferred in as a freshman. I was like an 18-year-old junior. So I'm an 18-year-old junior, and I'm there. And the whole thing is like, I am going to find a way to make $100,000 a year, and this is my market. These students who go here will somehow pay me an average of $4 each this year. That's the math I did in my dorm room. Like, if everyone pays me $4 a piece, that would pay for my tuition. If they pay me $40, that makes me rich. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm marketing, okay? And again, why did I paint my vehicle? Could please someone tell me why?
Because you're a really good artist.
But why? Why paint your vehicle?
You got to get people to know.
And so everybody, though, says, well, why? Dude, your car, that's so whack, so lame. Why would you do that? I'm like, whatever, but you know
You're
what?
talking
Everyone
about
knows
it.
who I am. And then why did I put soap in the ORU fountains every time I had a dance party? Can someone please tell me? Because I had dance parties on Friday nights at the Marriott where it was very hot. That was my phrase. At the Marriott where it's very hot. Next episode, yay. Okay, I was a DJ. I had to market it. So every time I had a dance party, I put soap in the fountains. Can someone please tell me why I did that? Every time. Every Friday, right before chapel. Why did I do that?
Bubble baths?
What's that? Foams up? You're right, because it's like massive. I mean, it's huge. Like we're talking like 8-foot high bubble, just bubbles. People are like, he's doing another dance party. And then the deans, boop, 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 boop. Mr. Clark to the deans. It's marketing. It's PR. Works. Extraordinary. I don't care.
I can't believe you have video for
So you
back
go
then,
to
too.
the dean.
That's
The dean's like, sir, and again, this is all pre-Christ. Don't judge me, but I'm teaching you marketing. So the dean's like, do you know about the dance party? Yeah, I do know about the dance party.
DJ Clavis.
There it is. Did you put soap in the fountains? No, I did not.
I bought the soap, but
Do
someone
you know
else
who
put
did?
it in there.
No, I do not know who did. Are you in any ways this related to your dance party? It could be. You should come. It's a lot of fun. You know? So that was my college experience. That's how I did it. And then why did I pass out flyers to every single girl dorm every single time? Someone please tell me. Please tell me.
Because you don't want it to be a sausage fest.
Stop. Rebuke it. Rebuke number 3.
You got to get the chicks to the party,
Don't
bro.
conform to
Come
the
on.
world. Don't talk to him during the breaks. Okay. So, I want to be clear though, is it so again, I'm trying to teach you principles that you can use in your business today and then you can use them. But why did I do it every month? Randy, why would I have to every single month put foam in the fountains every time I did a dance party?
Well, for branding, but I mean, you want to be consistent and across, you know, what you do.
Yeah. And then why, Stairs, you went to college. Why did I pay the Division I athletes money to attend to my dance parties?
Because people want to be where they are.
Right. So all the Division I basketball players are there because they're kind of the celebrities. You know? So, like, guys, I will pay you to show up. It was a whole thing. It was a whole marketing move. It was a whole thing, you know? Why would I keep the doors closed and make a line form?
Scarcity.
This is us at the end. Why did I pay everybody cash? Hit play real quick. Crank it up a little. Back it up a little bit. Go back to cash. Why did I pay all my workers cash?
Because it's a lot at that age.
Pause. And these guys were like, dude, you got to promote Clay's parties. I got $1,000 for one night of work. This guy's sick. And that's how I paid my way through college. So it's just marketing. So what am I saying? Marketing. You have to figure out. So my whole thing is I wanted to pay for college. All right, I want to pay for college. How do I do that? I need to have dance parties. How do I do that? I need to charge people $5 per head to go to a dance party. How many people have to come to the dance party? You do the math, and you have to market it. And most people, there's multiple DJs at college. Why wouldn't the other DJs every single week put out the flyers to every dorm room the week of their dance party? Stairs. Why wouldn't they do that?
Because they were weak.
That's right. They were like,
they may do it one week, but they don't do it all the time.
Every other
They may
DJ.
have the idea to do
There
it,
it is.
but they don't go do it. They may say, oh, man, I should, but then they don't.
And every one of my DJ competitors, because in college there's about 50 DJs per campus, all of them would send a mass email out, and that was their marketing. How many of you know that mass email marketing, if that's your only way to market, you're going to be homeless soon? Who knows this?
Yep.
Randy, if you only marketed your business via email, what would happen?
Oh, I wouldn't have a business.
There it is.
I get 0 revenue from emails.
Yeah. And the thing I discovered real quickly is Aristotle says the only way to avoid criticism is to say nothing and do nothing. Okay? So I discovered quickly if I had a big dance party, some people were upset, some people were happy, but I got paid. So you have to figure out real quickly how to deal with, because people are like, are you doing it again? You flood the fountains every month. Hey, well, I'm going to do it again next month too, you know? So it's the consistency of the idea. Let's go back here. Sean, Yellow Page dominance. Yellow Page, look for Yellow Page. So Stairs, $2,500 a month on Yellow Pages. Randy, you just did a trade show. How much money would you spend on a trade show? If a typical trade show that you do, how much money does that cost?
We dump about $60,000 in one trade show.
$60,000 on a trade show? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is my Yellow Page. And I'm like, if I'm going to pay you $2,500, I want a photo. So that's Jeremy McCaslin, who sold me my $2,500 a month Yellow Page ad. Look at that. Now, again, I'm 19-year-old paying $2,500 a month for Yellow Page ads. Stairs, why won't people do that? I see people say, I want to do it, but then they don't do it. Why won't they buy it?
Classic mindset, once again, is I don't have the money to do that. That is not entrepreneurial thinking, okay? That's poverty thinking. That's a poverty mindset. I don't have the money. Entrepreneurial thinking or success thinking is, how do I get the money? And even though I don't fully agree with everything that Steve is saying, there's something to be said about, I'm going to do this and figure out how to get it paid for.
Now,
That's
Marketing and
entrepreneurial thinking.
Marketing and salesmen should never cost you money. That's an investment.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the next thing I want to show, I'm just trying to show you examples so you can know that it's possible. Buying more gear. My wife and I remember we were 21. We were driving down Riverside, and I was in a really crappy vehicle because I always drove crappy vehicles. I was in a Mazda MPV. I looked at her, and I said, hey, do you want to build a house? And we were 21. She goes, a house? And I go, yeah. We're pre-approved. I got the money saved. Let's do it. And she was like, really? So we move into this neighborhood. It's the nice neighborhood where all the big houses are. And everyone's always coming by like, hey, what does your dad do? I remember every HOA meeting. What does your dad do? And I'm going, I bought this house myself. Why would you think that my dad bought it? Because you're 20. Because I was the youngest guy in the neighborhood. I was 21. All my neighbors were 50, 45, 60, whatever. And so we're in this neighborhood. But that was my backyard. And every week, I would deliver a shipment of about $3,000 of sound and lights every week. And why did I do it every week? Steve, why would I every single Monday, go online, buy the crap from Guitar Center, ship it, and it was like a set it and forget it. Every week, I'm buying $3,000 of equipment every week. Why?
I don't know. I was sending a text.
Why?
I'm trying to save one of Aaron's deals right now for another.
Why? Why would I make the
I don't
decision,
know.
Stairs, that I would buy $3,000 of equipment every week and do it every
Let me
week?
close this deal and I'll tell you.
That's how you build a business.
Yeah, well, number one, that's how you build a business. Number two, you're probably breaking $3,000 worth of equipment every single week when you're giving it out to all of your folks.
Randy, why?
Well, I mean, you just constantly have to reinvest in your business, and the easiest way to do that is just a chunk at a time. And so, like every single week, we sell about 8 jobs a week. I put $1,000 in business savings just for that. That's $8,000 a week that we just use for future growth.
So it's a discipline, and I want to be very clear. If you're going to save, if you don't have the habit of saving, the seeds of greatness are not within you. So if you don't have the habit of savings, the seeds of greatness are not within you. You know, so for me, I needed to do I had the vision. I want to do 4,000 weddings a year. That was my number. I don't want to do more. I don't want to do less. I did the math. I'm like, if I can make an average of $250 of profit per event, how much is that a year? $1 million. That was my goal. So I had to do the math. Okay? So I just told my wife, every week, no matter what, we're going to buy gear, $3,000 a week, every week, no matter how, and we're just going to cap our income and live cheap, but I'm going to keep shipping it. So the privacy fence, I made a 10-foot high privacy fence. So it's like a basketball goal size. I got in trouble with the HOA for that one. But I cemented my entire backyard, became cement, and I parked vans back there. And I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it.
You kept painting the vans yourself?
Yeah. And so now I'm 42. Why do I buy gold and silver every single? Why do I have a set percentage of my income? Why do I take a quarter of what I make and I just buy gold? Why have I been doing that since the age of 27? Can someone please sell me on this idea? Because you asked a question about a collapsing economy or something. Who asked that question about the collapse? Okay. Why have I been doing that every week since I was 27 years old?
Because you think the dollar's going to collapse?
Building wealth.
I'm going to give you a lot of facts, and I'll just go quickly. Look it up, Sean, real quick. In 2005, a price of an ounce of gold was how much? Ounce of gold, 2005. So I sat down with a friend of mine who owns a bank, and I said, hey, you, sir, own a bank. What should I do with my money? And the guy who owns the bank says to me, you should not put money in the bank. Says the guy who owns the bank. And I'm going, can you please explain to me? He says, well, how much was an ounce of gold in 2005? It was $444. Okay, and now look at it today. So, and I said, so what should I do with my money? He said, you shouldn't put money in my bank. I said, why? He goes, because we have what's called a fiat currency. It's currency via decree. It's not backed on since 1971, we've been off the gold standard. And the way exponential things work is that eventually it gets really bad. So it's 2% inflation rate, 2%, 4%, 8%, 16%, 40%. All of a sudden, there's no dollar value. And it will eventually happen, and when it does, you don't want to be left holding fiat currency. I recommend you buy gold and silver. I said, okay, do you do this? He said, yeah. I said, what percentage of your income? He says, a quarter. I said, okay, got it. What else? He says, you should take a quarter of your money and buy real estate from emotional people. Stairs, why do you want to buy real estate from emotional people?
Because you can buy low. They want out.
Yeah. So that's been my strategy. I just do it. I do it every week. And why is it a discipline? Again, Randy, you save money every month. Why do I just, every month, without thinking it, no matter how much money I make, a quarter of it I buy gold and silver? Why would I do that?
I mean, my philosophy is just like the books say, pay yourself first. So I take a certain chunk right off the bat, and it's just that consistency over time leads to large gains.
And I don't want to take this too far, but I want to answer your question. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're all currently introducing a new currency. They're working on it, okay? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And they're currently hoarding the Earth's gold. Do we all know this? Okay, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And they just got Iran and Saudi Arabia and Venezuela and Mexico to join them. And so they're rolling out what's called the BRICS currency. And so it's a gold-backed central bank digital currency based in Shanghai that you can turn on or off, and the way you can turn on or off someone's social media. And it's called a CBDC, or a central bank digital currency. So that's what's happening. So I don't know how it's all going to turn out, but I just am a big believer of buying gold and silver for the same reason I'm a big believer in buying land, because eventually the fiat currency will collapse. Who remembers when you could buy a new car for $5,000? I mean, have you noticed how this inflation? So that's my process. But again, hopefully this is a teaching moment for everybody. I would just encourage you to save a set percentage of your income and just commit to it and don't make it emotional. And so for me, 25% is what I was taught. It made a lot of sense to me at the time. The guy who told me owned a bank. I met another guy who owned a bank, and I asked that same guy, I said, what would you do with your money? He goes, I take half of my cash and buy gold and silver. I said, you don't put money in your bank? He's like, hell no. And these are people that own banks. I mean, it's because they understand how many of you saw the banks collapse recently? Do you see that? And this kind of stuff can happen. So I like to have physical assets, gold, silver, and land. Hopefully that's helpful for somebody.
Clay, one of the best books out there is the Profit First book, Mike Michalowicz.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. He's great.
Yeah, he's on Clay's show, and it really just kind of dices it up into put a certain percentage on every area of your business. It's for business owners, but you could use it for, I use that same principle for my savings.
So let's pull up your tracking sheet. That's cool, Sean. We'll pull up his tracking sheet, okay? And if you can't see it, will you wave at me? Because it's not going to be helpful if you can't see it. I just want to make sure if you can't, who cannot see those numbers? If you can wave at me if you can't see them. Okay, if you need to get closer to if this is helpful, I just want to make sure you can really see this, okay? So this right here is the date. And then this right here is the total sales. So Randy did $378,000 of sales last week. And based upon the number of leads you received, you paid $78.78 per lead. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And then the profit generated for the week is $75,672.17. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the ad roll impressions, this is how many people saw your ads. This is how many clicks you had. This is how many hot tubs you sold. This is how many leads you have. And if anybody's a coaching client, I'm obsessive about a tracking sheet because it's what really matters. So I have 4 clients right now that do some kind of fitness-related personal training. And for anybody who really wants to get in shape, tracking is a big thing in that business, So the personal trainer has people have a log of what they eat every day, and you just track it and you follow it and it works. So it's just tracking is a big thing. Does anyone have any questions about tracking sheets? Any questions about tracking? Tracking.
I would say what's great about tracking is whenever you make tweaks in your business, you know what's working and what's not, because you'll see those numbers start to change when you do something wrong or right.
So you had a question, sir, about tracking. We'll go to you. Yes. Yeah. Let's do this. Sean, do a command C of Randy's tracking sheet, but then remove all the numbers that are specific for him, but keep all the columns, and then make that as a document. And then everybody who wants that in the break, Sean can get it to you. Make sense? But I just want to be very clear. With every business, you only have to track what matters. So I'm hoping I'm being very helpful for somebody out there. I'm trying to really help you. We're going through this. Again, you have a whole book you can dive into when you get home. But this is important. Most people get kind of stuck here on box 3. They really struggle here in box 2. So did everybody figure out how many hours per week you're willing to work? Did everyone figure that out? Okay, so it's really important. One of the wealthiest guys in Tulsa, we've had him on my show before. Terry's been on my show multiple times. And Terry doesn't like media. He doesn't like PR. But he only works 4 hours per day. And he has, I won't mention his last name because we're streaming live, but he has $2 billion of assets. And he only works 4 hours a day. And he grew up with nothing. But he's got a schedule where he works like a maniac between 10 and 2. He shows up at work at 10. And his business involves, they have to make a certain amount of outbound calls a day. And if they make a certain amount of outbound calls, it turns into a certain number of appointments. And those appointments turn into deals. And he just manages it that way. So whatever metrics matter, you have to track. Are we on the same page? Okay? So metrics I don't care about. Just to give you an example, if you go to my rumble.com channel, I don't care how many people view the videos I put out because they're not for you. They're for you and the people that are willing to change things. So most of the people who are leading the operation to save America are the people that I make the videos for. And then they go, hey, can you send me the news briefing of the day? And I put out 2-minute briefings for them and people that are trying to change things, but it's not like for the masses. So it's for people like yourself that are serious about life. But a lot of people, a cat video will go viral. Does that make sense? But I don't care about views or likes or any of that. I just care about, so just being very, I won't mention names because we're on streaming, but there are certain people that are in charge of the free world that will call me and go, hey, what do you know about bricks? And I'll go, here, I'll send you a 2-minute briefing. And that's why I make those. And certain people that are in the Republican Party have discovered that my videos keep showing up in meetings. And they're like, you're the one who gets all the videos to these people. I'm the video guy. But I'm not worried about likes.
Clay, they have been very helpful for me. Sure appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'll just say, so they're not designed to be viewed in terms of consumers. They're designed to help save America. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So, Randy, on your the testimonial videos you put on pmhokc.com, those videos are designed to be a conversion tool, not as a viral form of video.
Correct.
Can you kind of explain the difference? Because some of your videos, I would argue, that are your most helpful for selling are not going to get 20,000 views.
Yeah, I mean, the main point of the videos is it goes on YouTube and your Google Map, and it's basically candy for SEO. And so, you know, Google owns YouTube, and so when people search whatever you optimize that video for, it's going to pull up that video. And I think the videos are far more powerful than even a Google review because it's so real. It's like right in front of you, real people. You're not like fabricating these videos. That's raw on your phone, and that's the point of these videos.
So a lot of times, Mike, and I only work with business owners, just to be clear, and I'm not trying to attack anybody, but I will only work with the owner of the business. I will not work with their assistant because it never goes well because I'm at a different level, and don't hire me and then have me talk to your third grade assistant. I can't do it. So I work with the owner, and the owners like to delegate. They go, this week I'm busy, so I'm going to have my assistant talk to you. I won't take that call. Get them off my phone, okay? Because the assistant's like, the video we put out for Randy only, and your employees have never said this, Randy, but I'm saying this as an example. The employee who's not Randy would say, well, the video only had 7 views. It's a waste of time. I'm like, no. That was viewed by ideal and likely buyers that were on the verge of buying a $100,000 pool, and that was a great conversion tool. I'm not trying to track how many views they get. I'm trying to track the conversion rate. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay? So this is the stuff, this is the numbers you need to know. You had a question, sir, about tracking. Yes? Do you guys input all of your data manually? Yes, and I don't believe in automation. I'm going to tell you why.
I would not delegate that either. Do that yourself.
And this is not a personal attack. I'm just attacking the thing. We're on the same team. I attack the thing. I rebuke automation. I rebuke automation of all kinds at all times. So I believe that God gave us authority over the earth, and I do not want to give my authority to an automated thing, ever. So let me explain an example of this. This is just examples. I had and I'll speak in vagaries, but you probably know who it is, Steve. There's a cosmetic surgeon I used to work with, not in Tulsa. And this particular cosmetic surgeon, he gives me his card for the monthly fee. It's $1,700 a month, and the card doesn't go through. Now, Randy, if a card didn't go through, what would be your immediate response? If you're dealing with a customer, they're paying for a pergola, the card gets declined, what would you say?
We usually run it with them on the phone, so it's going to be known very quick, but we're going to attack that immediately.
Top-level surgeon. So I call him, and I said, Mr. Top-level surgeon, hey, your card's not going through. Maybe can we try a different card? He goes, oh, yeah, let me give you a different one. But denied. Steve, if a guy gets 4 cards denied in a row, what's probably happening? You're a mortgage guy.
Probably maxed out.
Yeah. So I talked to him, and I'm like, I don't know how to bring this up to you, but I don't. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I don't think that you have the money you think you have. And this guy thinks he's worth millions of dollars. But guess what he did? He abdicated and automated his accounting. So delegate means you give someone a task and you follow up. Does that make sense? You give someone a task, you follow up. That's what delegate is.
Yep.
Abdicate is where you tell someone to do something and you don't follow up. Let me try again. Delegate is where you give someone a task and you follow up, okay? Abdicate is where you give someone a task and you don't follow up. So he gave an accountant access to his money per surgery, spine surgeon, top spine surgeon, and the accountant's thinking, this guy he's not delegating, he's abdicating, and homeboy's seeing millions of dollars roll through. So what does the nefarious accountant guy do, the bookkeeper?
He
What does
buys
he
a
do?
Lambo. Yes.
So no,
See, you figure out how to pay for it later.
So no, this is a real story. This happens every time. Every client I've ever worked with, except for exceptions, who delegates their accounting and then abdicates it by not following up, this happens. So the accountant starts a medical supply company and starts billing the spine surgeon for medical supplies that he doesn't actually get.
Oh.
So my client who thinks he's worth about $2 million, I have to point out to him, you have no money at all. And the way the person did it is he put him into multiple different medical billing accounts within shell companies, and he couldn't prosecute because he couldn't ever figure out where it was going. So we're in a meeting, and we're talking about $1,700, and I'm like, bro, you lost $2 million probably. And you go, huh? Now look up George Foreman. Look up what happened to George Foreman's wealth. Look up a lot of these NBA players. People criticize them for going bankrupt. Well, they're working out 50 hours a week. I mean, they're hitting the gym. They're focused on their diet. They're focused on their media schedule, their press. You know what I mean? These athletes, that's what they focus on. They delegate their accounting, and then it drifts into abdicate, and then they automate. Now, why does an automate? Stairs, how could automation possibly go wrong?
Well, because it's happening whether you think about it or not. Yeah. And we did have a client that had automated certain bill pay, and they weren't keeping track of their accounting on a weekly or monthly basis.
Ooh.
And so when we started working with them as a client, we started looking at their expenses every week and every month, and they discovered that they had charges on there for cell phones that they had bought for employees and the employees they didn't have anymore. And this went back for like 7 or 8 years. And we found immediately that they had $8,000 a month that was coming out of their account automatically, and they were not even aware of it because they set it on automate, and then they were never looking at it.
Another thing, I worked with another medical professional in the last year who, you know, you have your paycheck where your paycheck is automated. You know, it goes in every 2 weeks. You know what I'm talking about, where you get the paycheck. And he had 4, I think, employees that hadn't worked for him in over 2 years but got paid $7,000 or $8,000 every month. And just never said, hey, I don't work here anymore. Stop paying me. They're just not going to say anything. And so we found out, guess what? Guess what the owner can do? What kind of recourse does he have after he's willfully been paying people for 4 consecutive years $8,000 a month? What can he do? Nothing. So my whole thing is I like the friction because it cuts through the fiction. You see what I'm saying? The weekly friction cuts through the fiction. So every week every time we do payroll, I want Andrew to have to sign off on it. And then if it's more than it should be, I want to get pissed. And that fixes it every week. So every Monday, I'm pissed. If you ever see me on Monday, I'm pissed. Because Monday, it's always like, so we went who was at the Reawaken America? Who's been to a Reawaken America tour event? Who was in Tampa? Was anybody in Tampa? You guys were in Tampa? So Tampa, there's about 8,000 people there. And we had one person that turned in, they sold 3,000 shirts. Now, you understand we sell shirts, and if you work on my team, I let people pay $25 or whatever they want to pay, and I give them a commission of $3 per item they sell. And this person said they sold 3,000 items. How statistically probable is it, Steve, in a conference of 8,000 people, that one person, who's, by the way, typically absent from the booth, sold 3,000 items?
Well, if it was me, it would be possible.
How possible is it, though? Seriously.
Probably not very possible.
And this is what she says. Oh, I guess I had a 0 wrong. No, I'm not kidding.
Whoops.
And hotel reimbursements, that's why I tell people, put that on your own card, and then you turn in a reimbursement, and then we'll see how that goes. Because I'll reimburse you for the hotel you actually stayed in, but you're not going to use my card. Who's ever had your employees run up huge charges on your card? Yeah, so the whole automation thing, and I see business owners that make these complicated...
And I loved it because I caught it
his hand.
It was awesome.
Aaron raised his hand. Are you talking about Jordan?
No, now on the spreadsheet, a lot of people will make these fields that auto-calculate, and then they're wrong every week until they find out they get hit with reality. So I would encourage you to manually put it in and make that 20 minutes a week something that you have to do. I just dealt with a doctor yesterday whose front desk lady had been lying to him about the number of Google reviews she gets every week. And how would I know this, sir? How would I know? Yeah, I go to Google and I'm like, there's not 800 reviews here, there's 7. And he's paying her $10 per review. I dealt with a cosmetic surgeon a few weeks ago. An employee on his team, she gets $50 per appointment she sets if the patient shows up. And guess who the new patient had to meet with? Her. So she said, yeah, I booked 50 appointments. I met
All
them.
50 of them showed up.
Only 4 closed,
Actually,
though.
54.
Only 4 closed, though. I'm like, so this person closed 4 out of 50? What?
That's good.
So that's why I don't automate. I hope that makes the friction is where you cut through the fiction. Is that helpful?
Yeah, and with the tracking sheet, I found it's very common that if the business owner is not putting those numbers in, then when I ask questions to the business owner about the numbers, they don't know the answer because they didn't plug the numbers in. And so they don't have confidence in the numbers that are there. And almost 100% of the time, they're going, I'm not really for sure. I'll talk to them about it. And the thing is we're making decisions based on those numbers.
Now, let's get into government for a second. Do you know that Kristi Noem was doing an interview the other night with Tucker Carlson? And Kristi was asked the question, Governor Noem was asked the question by Tucker, how is it possible that the legislatures in South Dakota were about ready to change the definition of money and roll in the Chinese Communist Party? In China, we all know in China they use central bank digital currencies. Do we know this? You can turn off someone's money in China if you don't like it. Do we know this? Is this new information for anybody out there?
Social credit
score. And her response to Tucker was, well, most of them just didn't read it. You understand, I have yet to meet an elected official this year except for you and Ken Paxton from Texas. And, there's probably 10 elected officials I've met this year that have ever actually read any legislation that they've ever signed.
I just had the Speaker of the House put me in a new committee. He's going, Clay, I'm doing it because I know you read.
Why? I'm sitting there talking to an elected official who's big time official in Texas, and I go, do you understand that what you're doing is making it impossible for your state to be financially solvent because you're basically banning the oil and gas industry that makes your state work? And he's like, I guess I didn't read it. You didn't read it? Why? Because they delegate. No, they abdicate. Does that make sense? And then they're giving it to somebody who's a borderline communist who's their assistant. So if you own a company, there's certain things, or to quote Eric Trump's father, President Trump, sign the checks yourself. And I don't know if you guys know this. Do you guys know that Eric actually, he is very mechanically inclined, and his dad made him work on the work site every day? So Eric, he could drywall something if he needed to. He understands what things should cost. And so he's on the properties a lot. He's very hands-on. So that's the Trump embassy, or the Trump empire, I should say. The Trump empire is really a real estate empire based upon building buildings. And so they know how to build buildings, and so they catch waste and fraud, and they're good at that. And so you just want to not automate things that require your brain.
It's so freeing and just so crucial that you immerse yourself in the data every single week. Spend about 5 hours a week to just look at all the numbers. I would say this tracking sheet takes me about an hour to put together.
Yeah.
But throughout the week, I'm gathering data.
So you had a question, sir? Saul.
Yes, sir. You do that for the entire locations, the 4 locations you're talking about, or for each location?
Yeah, so mine are all one entity. So for me, I have all my numbers combined.
When you have many locations, how you do that?
Yeah, this is just things I want you to think about. I have, for Elephant in the Room, our haircut chain, we have multiple locations. And my wife likes to work about an hour a day. And I'm not saying that as a backhanded compliment because she works all day with our kids, which in my opinion is like the most important job, So, but she comes in an hour a day. And what she does is she just looks at the numbers every day. And that's why she pisses me off every day. And then we're in a good flow. But because she'll come in and she'll say, hey, just so you know, the Reawakened, this just happened. The Reawakened tour you're taking to Miami, the security costs are way up, and your average tickets are not, like the ticket price. So we're going to basically lose a lot of money. So are you okay with that? And I'm like, don't say the number out loud. Because how many of you have that relationship with the person who does the math? You almost don't want to hear it.
Yes.
And she's like, and by the way, your Jumbotrons are a lot more expensive because you're dealing with Florida vendors. And by the way, your security just went up again. And by the way, I'm going, you are negative. Because I don't want to hear it. I want her to say that math's looking good. So you have to have, whoever gets those numbers, you have to look at it, kind of argue with it. It needs to be actually, you're wrestling with it, if that makes any sense. Make sense? So elephant in the room, each one of my stores, a manager gives me numbers, but I don't believe them. I don't. I mean, it sounds weird, but I don't believe anybody. To quote Ronald Reagan, trust but verify. So they turn in a number which I believe to be a fictional narrative, kind of like a Barack Obama autobiography. Like I don't believe it, you know. And it's funny, but it's actually, I've read Barack Obama's autobiography, and then I've looked up the people in the book who all say that that's not what happened. It's interesting. But I'm just saying I have to, so they turn in the numbers, and I have to assume they're wrong, and I verify. Is that helpful?
Because people are liars.
Yeah, and it's not everybody, but it's 75%.
No, most of them, though.
So let me pull this up just so you see the math. Sean, look it up here. 75% of employees steal from the workplace, according to the U.S. Chamber.
Those are the ones that admit it.
Right.
Yeah, when asked, do you steal from the workplace?
Yeah.
75% are stupid and go, oh yeah.
Look at that.
And another 24% more
I'm stealing.
lie about
Okay,
it.
that's again, U.S. Chamber, and then Inc. magazine did a survey recently, and it's 85% of employees admit to putting things on the resume that at no point was true. So 85% of employees just make up things on their resume. So it's not everybody; it's just almost everybody.
True.
So, and this
Everybody.
is one thing, pastor math. Have you guys ever done pastor math? You ever talked to pastors about math? If you ever ask a pastor, hey, how many people go to your church? They're always like, probably
thousands.
like 900.
Thousands.
Every 900, and usually the associate pastor will go, 900 is if we count everyone who's ever attended church that month. Okay. Because the people want to say a number that's bigger. They want to, and they're not, I don't even know if it's intentional. I just think we as a culture tend to exaggerate or hyperbole or whatever, but you just have to trust but verify. Is that helpful? So
And you do that through the daily huddle. So, every single day you're having some sort of team call or huddle in person, and you're verifying all those numbers throughout the week.
The huddle is like in football. I was not good at football. I enjoy watching football, but I wasn't good at it. But in football, I love watching NFL mic'd. That's the one thing I've always enjoyed because you get to hear what their players are saying. But the idea is that the huddle, they bring the team back together and they readjust, they recalibrate, and they say, this is what we're doing now. And some of the NFL mic'd with Tom Brady is hilarious. Have you guys ever watched NFL mic'd with Brady? It's hysterical. Because, he's tall, but he's kind of a thin guy. And someone will be like, oh, Brady, man, I feel like, and Brady's like, am I talking to you? Stop talking. Okay. And he'll command the huddle, or someone will say they're hurt. They're like, man, I got the wind knocked out of me. He's like, shut up, get back in formation. And Brady runs that huddle, because you've got to keep these adult men who are very talented on task. And so these adult linemen are kind of afraid of Brady in the huddle because he's so intense. And that's kind of how your huddle has to be. You're like the Darth Vader of your business. Cool? Helpful? Any other questions about numbers? Numbers, it's tracking numbers. Okay, I want to keep going here.
Clay,
yes.
Is it better to be feared and respected or liked and loved?
Feared and respected.
Thank you.
Okay. And the Bible, by that, says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of holy is the. Sean, look that up, please. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of the fear of the Lord, and that's something I've been working through. Am I sincerely afraid of God? We should be. Eternal damnation or salvation. It says, for the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And I think a lot of businesses create a culture where no one can get fired ever, and no one's ever held accountable, and then it just kind of drifts around there. That's Proverbs 9:10. Okay, Proverbs 9:10. Okay, let's look at this. Let's keep going here. Have we firmly established a to-do list? Any questions about to-do lists? To-do lists. Okay, I'm going to pick on your business, Matt. Is that cool? Can I pick on it? Well, which one do you want to focus on? Give me a business. Can I pick on one? In a helpful way? You got anything you want me to help on? MadisonBride.wedding. Can you write that downstairs? MadisonBride.wedding. What is that?
That's through nerdapplications.com.
Nerdapplications.com? What does that do? IT for who? Whoever needs it? Small business. And how much do you charge per month for that business?
As much as you can pay.
How much is, who's your ideal and likely buyer? Who do you sell to? Okay.
He said as much as you
Aaron,
could pay.
Aaron, come up here real quick if I can. Let's have Aaron up here. He runs Shaw Homes. I'll keep Steve up here. I want to keep. These are real business owners, okay? So you sell. What do you sell? What are the solutions?
Website solutions, we sell software,
Okay, I need a marker. Okay.
SEO.
Okay, got it. So right here, how much would you charge? I need to know a number, roughly, what you would charge per client per month for your services. $100 to $200. $100 to $200. Okay, so $100 to $200 is what your average ticket is. Okay, this is how I think about business. This is how I would do it. Okay, $100 to $200. So how many clients would you need to hit your income goals with this business? This is the average price. How many clients would you need there, Matt, to hit your goal? 20 clients? So you need 20 clients. Okay, so and the services you provide are what again?
SEO, websites, and anything internet updates.
SEO, website, hosting. Okay. Now the challenge is, Aaron, if this man, Matt, wanted to sell to you, how would he get a hold of you?
You better have my cell phone number.
How would he get it?
If you called my office, they would probably give it to you depending on what you were looking for.
So this is step one for you on the sales side, on the marketing side. You, in this particular business, you're going to have to call businesses. It's going to have to happen. Because how many times do you open an email, Randy, from a marketing company? How many times do you get marketed to via email where you actually open it, take the time to read it?
Almost never. I don't respond to those.
Nobody does. And you know what? Business owners are the most. Charles, do you respond to marketing emails? No. And every successful business owner will say no. And the only guy that will say yes is the guy who doesn't have any clients, and therefore he wants to read every email because he wants interaction, because he's in jail. I'm just kidding. But there's like some sort of like, so no successful client will, so Steve, I'm going to cold call you, and I'm going to try to pitch that service. And I have to make a script. And I'm doing it right now. I don't have a script written down. So if my script is terrible, please don't judge too much. If it's great, whatever. But it has to be 30 seconds or less. Can someone please tell me why the script has to be 30 seconds or less? Can someone please explain this to me?
Because I'm gonna hang up in 23
Okay,
seconds.
ready? Ready? Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, is this Steve?
Yep, that's me.
Steve, hey, I'm a web marketing search engine guy. And, okay.
All right, try again. Go ahead. That's like really what I would do. Thanks. It was good though.
Okay, we'll call Aaron. And this, but let's be clear. I don't care about rejection. Do you understand that most of the speakers on the Reawaken America tour told me no? So I called from a different phone line and I got a yes later.
Yep.
Seriously.
That's true.
Aaron sees me do it. I don't care.
I watched
You
you.
reject me, I'll call again.
Yeah.
But that's just real. Okay, I'm going to call you.
Hello.
Hey, is this Aaron?
It is.
Hey, Aaron, I have a web optimization marketing business, and I know you're super busy, and I would love to pay you $50 to meet you for a total of 10 minutes to see how I could help you grow your business.
$50
For
10
10
minutes.
minutes.
Okay, I could probably do that.
And that's about all your, and by the way, one of the top printing supply companies in Oklahoma, that's his whole pitch. He will pay you $50. And Randy, I'm going to call you now. Ready?
Hello?
Is this Randy?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Randy, I have a marketing company, and I know you're super busy. I want to see if I could pay you $50 to meet you for 10 minutes to show you how I think I can help you grow your business.
Can we do Zoom?
Would you do Zoom? I mean,
Yeah.
would you do it for $50?
Yeah, I would.
So there's that weird flipping point. That's the no-brainer where someone would go, yeah, I'll look at it. So our printing supply guy, Bud, he called me, Clay. So I'm gonna cold call me like you're trying to sell me a printer, okay? And I'm gonna reject you, okay? And we'll just kind of go through that. This is what happened, okay? Ready? You're calling me. This is Clay.
Yeah, is this Clay Clark?
Yeah.
Hello, Clay. My name is Clay as well. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
That's right. Hey, I just wanted to talk with you really quick. I've got a printing supply company, and would like to talk with you about doing some business together.
Not gonna happen.
And so, what I'm doing,
And I just,
Talk
that's
to you
how I
later.
am
Bye.
on virtually every call from anyone ever about any subject. Just not going to happen, you know. Or I'll say little things like burning fire, got to go, boom. Because I'm not gonna, you know. My buddy Michael Levine, who was the top PR guy in the world, at one point, now this is a true story. Michael Levine was the PR guy for Michael Jackson, for Prince, for Bill Clinton, and George Bush all at the same time. And now that I know what I know, I don't know what I know. But that was a real thing. And I remember Michael used to tell people that he had to take a long distance call And he did that as recently as 4 years ago. Remember Michael? He would come to our conferences.
Yeah, he did.
And Michael would be talking to you at this conference, and you would, if someone was talking too long, he would go, I got to take a long distance call. And I'm like, dude, you still use that? I've used that move for 40 years, Clay. And I'm like,
It's not a thing.
Everything's long distance.
Yeah.
There's no extra cost for long distance, just so you guys know. Not like it used to be.
well, so you have a total of, and there's a book called Pitch Anything you could read, but the whole point is you've got maybe 15 seconds to get his attention, and the only way you're going to do it is if you're going to pay for an appointment, because they're not going to want to do it. Are we on the same page? Is that helpful for anybody? Does anybody here do business-to-business sales?
I'm going to unravel your mic.
Okay. Does anyone here do business-to-business sales? You got to do like a 30-second quick pitch. I mean, Matt, that's about all you got. Okay, so now that you have an appointment, Matt, I'm just trying to help you with your company. Now that you have an appointment, Randy, if you did agree to do the appointment, what's the first thing that you would do immediately after agreeing to the appointment? Even if you're getting paid.
I'm going to put it on my calendar.
Put it on your calendar, okay? Antis, what would you do immediately after you agreed to do an appointment for 10 minutes? Even if you're getting paid, what would you do?
I would take the cash up front and start a timer.
Okay.
At the appointment.
Stairs, what would you do?
At the appointment?
Before the appointment.
Well, I'd probably, I would put it on my calendar.
Yep.
Before the appointment, I would go online to
Yeah.
find out what's going on.
So-
Is this a real thing?
So you, going back here, you're going to need to have at least 10 video testimonials. Now, Clay Stairs, with your speaking career, it was hard to have video testimonials because you had never done speaking. So how do you go get 10 video reviews, Stairs?
Free.
Yeah,
Lots
so
of
you got to offer
speaking
free
for free.
services for at least 10 customers to build
Chamber
the
of Commerce.
Yeah, he was the Chamber of Commerce speaking guy.
That was the man. Boom.
Every luncheon, you were stuck with Clay Stairs. And he got progressively better over time. Like the first one was kind of rough. Second one was really good. Third, better. And there was the one, I won't mention the details, but you shut up and you go, it bombed. Remember that one?
Oh, there were two that were bombed. I know which one you're talking
You were like,
about. In
it
Chicago.
was
Are you talking about
bad.
today?
It was terrible. It was terrible. In
Okay.
Chicago, talking to some sales folks.
So hopefully this is helpful. So now what we're doing, I hope you've seen these boxes. We're putting it all together here. Okay, it's a puzzle. Okay, so now we're doing $100 to $200 a month per client, and now you're going to call businesses, and you need to get video reviews. Also, you need Google reviews. Antis, why does he need Google reviews?
Because otherwise, you're not going to even show up on Google. It's the fastest way to get to the top of the map. When you get to the top of the map, people with Google location
Randy, even if his
services will
business
find
involves
you.
cold calling, why does he need Google reviews? Even if his business involves cold calling, why does he still need to get reviews?
Say that again?
Even if his business involves cold calling, why does he still need to get Google reviews?
Well, because they're going to verify you on Google after you talk to them, and even after you set the appointment, they're going to be basically validating what you're saying and who you are.
Digital reputation.
There it is. Okay. So, and I've embraced long ago, because I've been a libertarian since I was born, I think. I think we all are born libertarians, and I think over time we drift into a political party. But I am a libertarian, meaning I just do not like government on either side, don't trust anybody. And I've always been that way. So it's interesting when you go on the different job boards and you read about me. People are like, he's the worst person ever. You only get paid if you do stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's true. Or it's like, this guy turned his building into a church. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Okay, but so I kind of embrace who I am, but people are going to read about it. So you got to kind of know what you're all about. Now, when you do the sales meeting, why do you have to have a script? Antis, why do all your salespeople have a script, even though they do face-to-face sales?
Because they will say absolutely crazy stuff to our customers. Like crazy
And we'll get into the crazy stuff. Then you need a one sheet. So if you look on, everyone should have a one sheet here. This is the one sheet for one of my businesses. And on the back, it shows everything that we do for coaching clients. And on the front, it shows what I do. On the back, but it's one sheet that shares the entire thing I do, one sheet. A lot of restaurants, a lot of big-time restaurants like In-N-Out Burger. Stairs, why does In-N-Out Burger have a simplified menu? Simplified menu. Why does In-N-Out Burger have a simplified menu?
Well, it's easy to expand on simple.
Scalable, the whole thing.
Very scalable. It's easy to get average people to help you if you have simple.
So you need to have a one sheet, okay? Then you want to track your conversion rate. Randy, have you ever had and I'm not looking for names or specific dates, but have you ever had a sales guy go 0 for 10, 0 for 12 on meetings, 0 for 20, 0 for... You ever had a guy go 0 for...
I did. I actually just let a guy go 2 weeks ago, and last month he went 0 for 40.
Now, I got a guy who used to be on my team who's a great guy, but he sweats a lot. Sweats a lot. That was his nickname in the office because he was a phenomenal
Sir
DJ.
Sweats a lot.
He was a phenomenal DJ, but whenever he was around any women at all, which was what we did because it was weddings, brides, he would start to stutter and sweat profusely every time. So he's a good wedding DJ, but when he would talk one-on-one with brides, the brides would go, before the wedding, can I meet the DJ? And I'm going, I don't think you want to do that.
That's probably not a good idea.
He was kind of Chris Farley-esque in many ways, and he would just be like, I'm so honored to meet you because you are beautiful. I mean, you are
hot.
God. I totally respect your wife, sir, wife-to-be. I hope the wedding goes great. And if you need a DJ for the second time, I'm here for you. And I'm like, dude, why are you saying these words? He told one bride-to-be, he goes, hey, when's the baby going to be here? She wasn't pregnant. And I'm like, there's no recovery. You're done. So like, dude, stop talking to the brides. And when we DJ'd, why did I give all my DJs a script of what songs to play and what words to say? Why would I give my disc jockeys a script? Who's ever been on a cruise ship and has seen the same entertainer 2 nights in a row? Who's ever seen this? Who's seen Seinfeld twice? Who's seen Gaffigan twice? I used to be an entertainer, okay? So I would do, I've been on all the entertainment venues where they have the same entertainer every night. And my job is like the warm-up gig, or I'm playing the sound or introducing the guy. And we had a guy who thought he was Tom Jones, another guy who thought he was Prince, another guy who thought he was Michael Jackson, another guy who thought she was Cher, okay? And these people, they have the same routine every night. And why was it the same routine every night? Can someone please tell me? Because those are repeatable? Yeah, but it's the same. The jokes were the same. The energy was the same. Crowd response was the same. It's, who's been to Dixie's Stampede in Missouri, Branson? Who's seen this? It's the same show every night, And so you have to have a script. And my DJs were great on the script, but if you had to meet them and they were off script, it was weird. So, Aaron, why would you want to record the calls if it's over the phone or record the presentations if it's face-to-face?
Because the salespeople will always tell you that they're doing things exactly the way you want it done until you listen to their recordings in front of their peers and they realize that they're way off the script, and then you have to correct them. But it's this peer pressure that happens because they know it's going to be played in front of their friends and their coworkers, and they're like, I don't want to look really bad. So then they'll follow it, and actually 90% of the way, even when you play it in front of other people. So
back to your business. Go 90 miles an hour, building a whole business plan in like 10 minutes, okay? Then you want to have pre-written emails, and you want to record the calls. That has to happen. So if you're listening right now and you're going, I don't have those, just circle the things here on this board and go, I need to do that when I get home. Because all of these are key components to building any successful company. Now, the next box here, you have to figure out, determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs. Randy, your cost per lead this week, I think, was $78 per lead.
Yeah.
Why do you need to know that it's $78 per lead when a guy just went 0 for 40?
Well, I mean, I'm constantly making tweaks in my marketing, and so whenever I see that number, and you can see things start to drift good or bad. And a lot of times I'll know exactly what that is based on what I've done on my marketing.
Now, our average client is with us for 6 years. That's my average. It's usually till they sell. So one of my clients, you were shadowing yesterday, Matt, and one of my clients is selling his business. I won't mention the name of his company, but I've started with him. He's a very small business, and now it's huge. And he doesn't like what he does for a living. And on one of our calls, he goes, I really hate what I do for a living, and I make a ton of money. And I'm only working like 4 or 5 hours a week, but I just don't like it. I want to do something else in my life. I want to move, want to go to a different, he's a married guy, he's in his mid-50s. And I said, well, why don't you just sell your company? And he goes, who would want to buy my kind of business? I'm like, that's easy to do. So I connected him to a broker. His business is profitable. Why would somebody stairs want to buy a business where everything is stamped down, everything's written down, the workflow's tight, all the numbers are accurate? Why is that easy to sell?
It's already been built.
There it is.
It's already been built, and it's successful. All you have to do now is manage it. That's what a franchise is.
And buying a car that's running instead of one that doesn't run.
And if you're wanting to know what your business is worth, it's usually your profit times 2.5, just so you know. So in his particular business, it's going to be his profit times about 7 because it's so well run that anybody with a mind could run the company, and it would just be perfect. So again, I say all this stuff to say I know my average client's with me for 6 years, so I don't have a problem investing a ton of work early on building a brand new website and doing all this work because it's photography and video and web, and there's so much work you have to do at the beginning. But the long term, you work with someone for 6 years, it's a pretty great win-win. But initially, there's a lot of stuff, okay? So next box. You want to have repeatable systems. I want to go to Randy on this. You have to have repeatable, core repeatable, actionable processes, checklists, and scripts for everything. You have to have a script or a checklist for everything.
Everything.
Why?
Well, I mean, you've got multiple people out there, and you want to dice your business up the exact same way so that every customer gets the exact same experience so you can measure those results.
Yeah, any system or checklist that you don't have in place, that means you're going to have to be in the company to do it because you are the system. Does that make sense?
Now,
if you haven't written it down, then you are the system.
Now, the
But if
next
you write
box.
it down, you don't have to go to work as much.
Now, the next box, and Stairs will talk about this tomorrow at 11, but the next box is you have to have the people to run the systems. So you could have all these great systems, but this is what happens, and I'm not trying to attack anybody and make it awkward, but a lot of times we hire who's available. Do we not?
Yep. Hire and hope.
Sometimes we're related to them, and sometimes they're not good at the thing they're supposed to do. So as an example, I remember talking to a football coach. It's a funny story. He says to me, Clay, you should really try out for the football team. And at that point in my life, I was really in the gym all the time. I liked it. And he says, you should try out. I think you'd be great on the team. And I'm like, okay. So, you sprint the 40-yard dash. And okay, you did pretty good. You bench press, you jump, you do all these things. It's kind of a little tryout. And the coach is like, I think you'd be good. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, I wasn't good. But I could have been good, but I wasn't. And the thing that made me really weird is in basketball, I was a very aggressive basketball player. I like physical contact. I liked to get technical fouls. I liked. Did anybody here play basketball? Who remembers the Pistons? Oh, yeah. Who remembers the Pistons? Did anybody remember the Pistons?
The bad boys.
So you can connect to this story here, okay? My whole thing was I was good. I was about 10 to 12 points a game, 10 rebounds, but I was 6'2", and the coach would always put me in against centers who are like 6'7", 6'8".
Were you the white Dennis Rodman?
It was pretty intense.
Okay.
But my whole thing was that I knew that I could destroy someone emotionally first, physically second, and then probably win the game. So that was my strategy. So I would go into the game, and I would talk to the 6'6" guy. I'm like, I'm going to foul you so hard in the nuts. Like, it's going to be just so crazy. And we're talking, because you're talking shooting free throws. I'm like, I'm going to hit you right in the nuts. It's going to be crazy. Like, kung fu grip, like, I'm serious. And then you're going to hit me, and then you're going to get a tee. But the whole thing, I'm just telling you, I'm serious. Who ever played basketball or some sport? Because the little conversations you can have. And I'm like, I'm going to elbow you in the ribs. It's going to hurt a lot. So the game starts, and the guy's like, dude, this guy's crazy. He's telling me these horrible things, So the guy goes up for rebound, right in the crotch. And he's like, and the ref's like, hey, number 34. And I'm like, well, the whole rest of the game, I'm in his head, though. Then that allows me at 6'2" to be about 7'2", and the whole game he's looking out for me like, where's this guy? He's crazy, So it's like this emotional jujitsu. Well, I thought I would be good at football because I was an aggressive guy, but in football, it's a different level. Who's been a linebacker? You guys are sick freaks. I mean, you guys can go in there, sever your head, and you're like, I'm fine, I can walk it off, no big deal. Football's a different level of intensity. I just wasn't good at it. So a lot of times people have a resume, and you hire them, and you think, wow, this is the aggressive basketball guy. I'll bring him on the football team. Not going to work. So when you manage people, you have to hold your team accountable to those jobs, and if they can't do it, you have to move on quickly. To quote Dr. Zellner, hire fast, fire fast. So I can usually find if someone's a good fit in about 2 hours on the job. I'll give you about 2 hours on the job. Because I can tell real quick. How many of you employ more than 40 people? Can't you tell real quickly if someone's going to work out? Yep. In my office, I can tell someone's not going to work out if they go, where's the coffee? For the fourth time they've asked that question. Where's the coffee? Or they're always gone. They're always on a private conversation and they're by their car. There's just certain signs. The person who always minimizes windows when you walk by, better shut that down.
And there's no review either. Like, you get into this rut of 90-day review. The review is every day. And
that's good.
That's at the huddle. So at that huddle every single morning, I'm asking questions about, and I just block off an hour of my morning, and then the rest of my day is whatever I want to do.
Cool. So next box, I'm trying to help you with your business here. Then you want to create a sustainable weekly schedule. You want to make a schedule that works for you. I like cold calling. Does anybody else here like cold calling? You're my people. We got 2? You're sick. You're on my team. I love it. Okay. I like cold calling, but if you don't, you got to block out time where you commit to doing that activity. And then human resources, we'll talk about this, how to hire, inspire, train, retain, and then accounting. And we come back from the break, we're going to bring up Paul Hood to talk about accounting. He runs a company called Hood CPAs, and his team is back there today. And Paul, it's one of the largest accounting firms in Oklahoma, and he can answer any questions you have about accounting. So we're going to take a break. It's 11:08. We're going to come back at 11:20 for our final session before lunch. And then for lunch, we'll have an hour lunch, okay? So we're going to come back here at 11:20. Coming back here at 11:20.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut, and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you are looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house.
with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you, thank you, thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, and we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.